that that statute might target innocent children and discourage school attendance for juveniles?
First, I had no involvement in that statute. Secondly, I believe the court struck that statute down. I'm not sure.
I believe that's correct.
Some of the act was declared improper and some not. So I don't, what was your question exactly?
Well, I'll follow up if I could. There was a statute in Alabama that was designed to require teachers, school administrators to check the immigration status of students before enrolling them. And I believe at that point 5 years ago, you made a public statement that we've allowed a sad situation for decades where large numbers of people are in this country illegally, and it's going to have unpleasant and unfortunate consequences. Some took that to mean that you felt that it was an unfortunate consequence, but appropriate, that children who were brought here illegally by their parents could be denied access to education.
No, they cannot be denied access to education. The courts have decided that, as I understand it. The question is, could you even ask if you're lawfully in the country or not? And I don't know what the law is on that subject. But what I was getting at was that this is a continual problem and will continue to be a problem if we don't end the lawlessness. I mean, you'd rather have immigrant children and children of immigrants here that came lawfully rather than unlawfully. It creates a problem that we don't need to have, and I believe is within our grasp to fix, and I believe people of goodwill will support that, and we need to get that done, and a lot of problems in our country and will be fixed, and a lot of our ability to create a more harmonious system in the future could become possible once this illegal system is fixed.
Well, as you know, Senator, on this committee together, many of us worked, put great effort into crafting a bill that ultimately passed the Senate by a strong bipartisan margin, would have invested heavily in securing the border and addressed a lot of unresolved issues in immigration. But my recollection was you did not support that bill. It's my hope that we can find a bill, as you say, that you could support. Let me move to another point. We worked together to restore funding to the Federal Public Defender Service when it was cut by sequestration, and I think that's because we both agreed that outcomes are more fair when there's effective representation on both sides. One of the amendments I offered to that immigration bill would have provided counsel to children who were applying for refugee status because they were fleeing violence in their home countries in U.S. immigration proceedings. Is that something you would support?
Senator Coons, excuse me, as I understand it, that is the law, that you cannot provide lawyers to illegal entrance into the country, and I don't believe it makes it distinguishes between minors and adults. But I may be wrong about that. Presume that's why you've offered legislation to that effect, to change established law. But in general, I do not believe we can afford, nor should we undertake, to provide free lawyers for everybody that enters the country unlawfully. I think that would be a massive undertaking. So you're talking about children specifically. I understand that.
Specifically those who are applying for
Congress would need to decide what to do about.
Let me ask you another question, if I might. There was a lot of discussion in the course of the campaign. It was a very vigorous campaign about the role of immigrants and in particular Muslims in this country. And I just want to make sure I've understood this. You believe it's improper for the government to discriminate based solely on a person's religion, correct?
That's incorrect. I believe that religion, as practiced by and understood by an individual, could make that individual subject to being denied admission if that individual's practice of their religion would present a threat to the country. So we have no requirement to admit somebody who claims to be religious who would present a threat to the United States, and I strongly think we have every right to inquire into those kind of radical and dangerous ideas that some might present.
So there's about 3 million Muslims in the United States today. There have been Muslims in America since its founding. Thomas Jefferson had a copy of the Quran. Would you